Today we're continuing our practice with percent equations, but we're moving into problems where there are multiple percents. I want to start by talking to you about a common mistake that students make. So let's read this problem first, and then I'm going to show you the error that students make, and I see it every year. Julia is trying to determine if she has enough money for a new snowsuit. The snowsuit is priced $135. She has a coupon for 15% off, and then there is 6% sales tax. How much will the snowsuit cost? So the common error that I see here is that students try to lump all of the percents together into one calculation. So they would say, okay, there's 100% of the cost of the snowsuit. 15% off is a percent decrease, so they subtract the 15%. And then to that calculation, they just do the percent increase for sales tax and add back the 6%. And so they would get 91%, and they try to find 91% of the $135. So this doesn't work, and let me show you why. Because here's what would actually be happening. The first part of that is correct. Yes, I do need to do the percent decrease of 100%, take away 15%. That's going to give me 85%. What that means is that I am paying 85% of the $135. This amount, though, is now the cost that's going to get the sales tax. So what that means is that it's 100% of the cost you're paying now. So I'm not adding 6% to this 85%. I'm actually going back to a base percent of 100 and adding my 6% to that. 100% plus 6% equals 106%. And so that means I am paying 106% of the 85% of $135. Putting this into a percent equation, you still use the same steps that you used yesterday. I'm going to convert my percents to decimals. I do that by dividing by 100. And then I know that of means multiply. So if I have 106% of 85%, that means I'm multiplying it by my 85%, which you can see there I converted to a decimal. And then that was of 135, so I'm going to multiply that. And I'm using the parentheses to show my multiplication. That will give me the total cost of the snowsuit. I'll let you solve these on your own. I know that y'all are great at that part of it. I just want to practice setting these up today. Let's look at a few more examples. Example 2 says you need a new binder. You find one at Office Space for $2.89. It's on sale for 10% off. You also have a coupon for an additional 15% off. How much will you pay for the binder? Again, don't be tempted just to lump the 10% and the 15% together. These are two separate calculations. So first, I have 10% off. Well, I take 100% of the cost of the binder, and I take 10% away. That leaves me with 90% of the cost. So I know I'm paying initially 90% of $289. But then I have an additional 15% off. This amount is 100% of the current cost. So I'm starting back at 100%. Then I'm going to take 15% away from that, and that gives me 85%. So that means I am paying 85% of 90% of $2.89. So again, I write this in an equation by converting the percents to decimals. Of means to multiply, so I'm going to multiply 85% times 90% times $2.89. And that will give me the cost of the binder. Example 3. The wholesale cost of a pair of shoes was $15.46. Shoes R Us marked up the price by 115%. The shoes then went on sale for 25% off. What's the sale price of the shoes? So the first thing that occurs is the markup. Remember that markup is a percent increase, so I'm going to be adding. So they take 100% of the shoe price and they marked it up 115%. So altogether, that means I would be paying 215% of the cost of the shoes. So I'm going to do my 215% of the $15.46. This is the amount that's getting the discount. So I need to then take 25% off of this 100% cost. Because this is 100% of what's getting the discount. So I started back at 100, not at 215. That leaves me with 75% of the 215% of the 1546. So to write this in my percent equation, I would have 7,500 times 2 and 1,500 times $15.46. And that would equal the cost of the shoes. You would then just solve that out by multiplying, right? Just multiply those three numbers and you would have your solution. For this last example, I want you to pause the video and try to solve it yourself and try to write the equation yourself. And then you can resume the video to check your work. So suppose your restaurant bill comes to $28.35. Find your total cost if the tax is 6 25/100% and you leave a 15% tip on the total amount. I know that initially I'm going to be doing the sales tax here, and I know that sales tax is a percent increase. So I'm going to add that to my 100% of the cost. And I know I'm paying 106 25/100% of the cost of the meal. So I'm going to go ahead and put that here. Then I'm going to add a tip on the total amount. So this is my new total amount. Whatever that equals would be the amount that's getting the 15% tip. Therefore, I'm not starting at 106.25, right? I'm going to start back at a base of 100% because this is 100% of the cost that's getting the tip. That's going to be adding the percent increase of 15, and that means I'm paying 115% of this. So if you got that far, that's great. The next step would be to convert percents to decimals and then figure out what operations are happening so that I can make an equation. 115% of the 106 25/100% of $28.35. And then you would have multiplied this to get your solution. So I'm going to do 1.15 times 1.0625. Notice I didn't round off this decimal here. Okay, and that's a question a lot of you have had. I'm leaving that whole. And then I multiply that by 28.35. And what I'm left with is $34.64.